El Niño, a climate phenomenon that occurs every few years, has a significant impact on weather patterns, ecosystems, and human societies across the globe. The term El Niño refers to a warming of the ocean surface in the central and eastern tropical Pacific, which can cause changes in atmospheric circulation and rainfall patterns. As we move towards 2023, scientists predict that another El Niño phenomenon is likely to occur. In this article, we will delve into the history and science of El Niño, explore its potential environmental and social impacts, discuss mitigation measures, and consider its implications for our future. Introduction to El Niño climate phenomenon. When it comes to climate phenomena, few are as well known as El Niño. This periodic event can have a significant impact on weather patterns, ocean currents, and ecosystems all around the world. In this article, we will explore the origins, history, science, and predictions of the upcoming El Niño climate phenomenon set to occur in 2023. Definition and meaning. El Niño is a climate phenomenon that occurs when the surface water temperatures of the Pacific Ocean near the equator become warmer than usual. This warming can cause changes in weather patterns around the world, including droughts, floods, and storms. Origins of the name, El Niño. The name, El Niño, means the child, in Spanish and was originally used by fishermen in Ecuador and Peru to describe the warm ocean currents that typically appear around Christmas time. It wasn't until the late 1800s that scientists began to realize the global impact of this phenomenon. Importance of studying El Niño phenomenon. Studying El Niño is important for many reasons. For one, it can help us better understand and predict extreme weather events like droughts, floods, and hurricanes. It can also provide insight into the workings of ocean currents and how they affect marine ecosystems. Finally, understanding El Niño is crucial for developing plans to mitigate its negative effects on both natural and human systems. Understanding the history of El Niño. Discovery of El Niño. The scientific discovery of El Niño is commonly attributed to Sir Gilbert Walker, a British scientist who, in the early 20th century, noticed a correlation between atmospheric pressure and sea surface temperatures in the Pacific. El Niño throughout history. El Niño events have been recorded throughout history, with reports of droughts and floods in ancient Chinese and Peruvian texts dating back thousands of years. In recent decades, these events have become more frequent and intense, leading scientists to study them more closely. Link between El Niño and human activities. While El Niño is a natural phenomenon, human activities like deforestation and greenhouse gas emissions can exacerbate its impact on the environment. By contributing to climate change, we are making it more likely that El Niño events will become more frequent, more intense, and more detrimental to ecosystems and human populations. The science behind El Niño climate phenomenon. How El Niño occurs. El Niño occurs when winds pushing water across the Pacific weaken, allowing warm water to flow east and accumulate near South America. This excess heat can then affect weather patterns around the world. El Niño versus La Niña. La Niña is the opposite of El Niño, occurring when the surface water temperatures of the Pacific Ocean become cooler than usual. This can also impact weather patterns, typically causing colder temperatures and more precipitation in some parts of the world. Factors affecting the occurrence of El Niño. While the precise mechanisms behind El Niño are not fully understood, scientists have identified several factors that can contribute to its likelihood, including changes in air and ocean temperatures, atmospheric pressure, and wind patterns. Predicting El Niño phenomenon for 2023. The role of scientific models. Scientists use a variety of models to predict the likelihood and severity of El Niño events. These models are based on a range of factors, including historical data, ocean currents, and computer simulations. El Niño's frequency and intensity. El Niño events can occur every 2 to 7 years, but their frequency and intensity can vary greatly. The most severe El Niño event on record occurred in 1997–1998 and caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damages worldwide. Current predictions for 2023 El Niño phenomenon. While it's still too early to say with certainty what the 2023 El Niño event will look like, current predictions suggest that it will be moderate in intensity. As always, it's important to stay informed about the latest developments and take appropriate measures to prepare for its potential impact. The environmental impacts of El Niño. El Niño is a climate phenomenon that occurs every 2 to 7 years, and it is characterized by above-average sea surface temperatures in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. This change in temperature influences global weather patterns and has a profound impact on the environment. Here are some of the ways El Niño affects the environment. Impact on global weather patterns. El Niño causes changes in the amount and location of rainfall worldwide. Countries in South America experience heavy rains and flooding, while countries in Asia and Africa suffer from drought. In the United States, El Niño causes warmer temperatures and increased precipitation in the southern part of the country, and colder and drier conditions in the Pacific Northwest. Effect on marine ecosystems. El Niño causes disruptions in the food chains of marine ecosystems, leading to declines in fish populations and changes in the behavior of marine mammals. Coral reefs are also affected by El Niño, with massive bleaching events causing irreversible damage to some of the world's most biodiverse marine ecosystems. El Niño and natural disasters. El Niño can exacerbate the effects of natural disasters such as hurricanes, typhoons, and tornadoes. In addition to causing flooding, El Niño can also cause landslides and mudslides in areas prone to these types of events. The economic and social effects of El Niño phenomenon. The impact of El Niño is not confined to the environment. The phenomenon also has significant economic and social consequences. Impact on agriculture and food security. El Niño can devastate crops and livestock, leading to food shortages and increased prices. Countries that rely heavily on agriculture for their economy are particularly vulnerable to the effects of El Niño. El Niño's impact on water resources. Drought caused by El Niño can lead to water shortages, which can have significant impacts on human health and livelihoods. In some cases, water restrictions have been enforced, leading to conflict and political instability. Social and economic consequences of El Niño and La Niña. El Niño's opposite phenomenon, La Niña, can also have significant social and economic impacts, such as lower fishing yields and reduced hydropower production. The effects of these phenomena can lead to poverty, job losses, and increased migration. Mitigation measures for El Niño's impact on the environment. There are several measures that can be taken to mitigate the impact of El Niño on the environment, such as adaptation measures for agriculture and water management. Adaptation measures can help farmers and water resource managers cope with the effects of El Niño. These measures include water conservation, early warning systems, and crop diversification. Impact of El Niño and La Niña on biodiversity. Conservation efforts can help protect biodiversity from the impacts of El Niño and La Niña. In particular, coral reefs can be protected by limiting fishing and tourism activities during bleaching events. International cooperation on El Niño prediction and response. International cooperation is critical for El Niño prediction and response. Countries can share data and resources to improve their ability to forecast and respond to the impacts of El Niño. Conclusion and future of El Niño phenomenon. El Niño is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that has significant impacts on the environment, as well as economic and social consequences. Mitigation measures can help reduce the impact of El Niño on the environment, but predicting and responding to the phenomenon remains a challenge. In the future, continued research and policy efforts will be necessary to understand and address the impacts of El Niño in a changing climate. In conclusion, El Niño remains an important and complex climate phenomenon that has far-reaching consequences for our environment and societies. While predicting and managing its impacts remains a challenge, ongoing research and international cooperation offer promising avenues for the future. As we move into 2023 and beyond, it is our responsibility to continue to monitor and respond to El Niño and its effects, both in our local communities and on a global scale. FAQ: What is El Niño phenomenon? El Niño is a climate phenomenon characterized by a warming of the ocean surface in the central and eastern tropical Pacific. This warming can cause changes in atmospheric circulation, rainfall patterns, and global weather systems. What is the history of El Niño phenomenon? El Niño was first observed and documented by Peruvian fishermen in the 19th century. Over time, scientists have developed a greater understanding of the science behind El Niño and its impacts, and ongoing research continues to shed light on this complex phenomenon. What are some of the potential impacts of El Niño? El Niño can have a wide range of impacts, from droughts and floods to changes in marine ecosystems and natural disasters. Its impacts can also have significant social and economic consequences, particularly in regions that rely on agriculture or fishing. What can be done to mitigate the impacts of El Niño? Mitigation measures for El Niño's impacts can include adaptation strategies for agriculture and water management, as well as international cooperation on prediction and response. Ongoing research and monitoring can also help to better understand and prepare for the potential impacts of El Niño.